All right. Welcome back to TV Express. You're welcome to TVM Express, rather. And we are going to be looking at something that is of great concern to us as Nigeria. It was bad before. We complained about it. We hoped about it. Some people even fasted about it. Some people went on the mountain about it. And we were promised it will be solved with so much gusto. There was so much gusto when the promises of it being solved. And here we are, it's still a recurring issue. My parents complained about it, which makes it very interesting. My parents complained about it. I complained about it as a child. I'm complaining about it as an adult. And the way it looks like my kids will also complain about it if nothing drastic is done to this. And what are we talking about? Well, there have been reports that have been flying around, and I think they have been confirmed that the Gencos, of course, we're talking of electricity. The Gencos, which is the generating companies of Nigeria's generation companies of Nigeria, Gencos, that the debts owed them has already crossed 6 trillion naira, and it could rise to nearly 8.8 trillion naira by the end of 2026. Now, this figure makes it ridiculous for a government to think that dismantling for it makes it ridiculous and makes it almost impossible to dismantle the generating corporation, because if you do that, what happens to this money? 6.6 trillion is almost the budget of Nigeria. So if you dismantle it, if you say you want to solve problem and solve an electric problem, and the way to go by it is to privatize it, which should have been the solution. But what happens to this debt? And this debt also is already affecting us in the present, because the Gencos at some time, I think it was a couple of days back, they said the reason for the challenge is that the federal government of Nigeria, now I have to be specific, because when we say 6.6 trillion, we're not talking of Nigerians, we're talking of our government. We're talking of ministries and parastatals. We're talking of ASO the House of Assembly, the Senate, collectively over time have refused to pay their light bill. Let that sink. We pay light bills as private citizens. If I do not pay, I will be disconnected. And meanwhile, the federal government has over time refused to pay their light bill. So it is ridiculous that has started affecting us Nigerians that are paying, that our government has refused to pay their light bill. So it is something that we are going to look at today, because if Gencos are not paid, they cannot sustain generation. And another issue we are also seeing is a major shift at the highest level of government regarding policy. Now, the presidential villa, commonly known as ASO is set to completely disconnect from the national grid and switch to solar by March. Before the end of this year, before the end of 2026, they will be using solar power installation in ASO completely. What does that put us Nigeria? Where does that put us Nigeria? And according to officials, a part of the reason is cost concerns and concerns about high electricity bills and unreliable supply. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but electricity bills and tariffs were increased, and our government are complaining that they cannot pay, that it is too high, right? And we as Nigerians are supposed to pay. And meanwhile, the federal government has said they are going to leave the national grid and join and install solar in their offices in the presidential villa. So the big question is, if the seat of power is leaving the national grid, what does that say about the system? Well, for the past couple of days, if not weeks, we've been having serious epileptic power supply. Band A that used to boast of having close to 20 hours electricity supply a day does not even get up to 12. And I wonder where the other bands, the bands that they divided everybody to, those in band D, I wonder how many they started receiving. If band D was getting 12, 13, 14 hours a day, I wonder what band D, because you have B, you have C, then you have D. meaning there are people in this country who used to have light before, at least for a couple of hours a day, that have not seen lights. Maybe they just flash the light and they take it off. So we are going to be looking at electricity and try to talk about it, not necessarily as experts, but as consumers and as Nigerians. But regarding this, the shortage or the epileptic supply, the Minister of Power actually came out and apologized to us, and he agreed that they have failed. Let's take a listen. This is courtesy of Channels Television. Let's take a listen.
We want to apologize to the generality of Nigerians, officially now coming from me as Minister of Power, that for this temporary issue that is leading to hardship being experienced, especially during this dry season, where there is so much heat everywhere, where businesses are also being affected, where schools are being affected, where industries are being affected. It is not our wish to find ourselves in this situation, but it's some factors that actually beyond our control. But we are not relenting. We are working on it 24/7 to make sure that we go back to the trend, to the trajectory of 2025, whereby you praised us, whereby you commended us for a good job well done. And we can imagine if we could provide such service in 2025. This is 2026. This is when we will be willing to even do more, to even do better, as we are close to the election year. So, except that we cannot help it, that's why we find ourselves here. But I can assure you that in the next few weeks, all this will be over. Power generation will improve, transmission will improve, distribution will improve, and that 6,000 megawatts will be achieved before the end of this year, and Nigerians will be better for it.
All right, that video came courtesy of Channels Television. So that was the minister. He was, I wouldn't want to say complain, but he was kind of apologizing to Nigerians. In a way, probably we can view that as maybe the responsible thing to do, but in another sense, it's an indication of failure. And if you ask me, with the solution to the challenge is just simply pay your bills. All this English saying that in the next couple of days everything will be solved, generator, whatever it is will be improved, will be increased. Just pay your bills. If I'm paying my bills, I don't know why you as my government. You know, that is. I'll be deviating to say this, but the truth is, it shows leadership ineptitude. If you are a leader, you're supposed to lead by example. You want Nigerians to pay bills, and you're not paying your bills. Then you now put the electricity companies in a situation where they cannot no longer afford gas to generate power, and Nigeria now falls into darkness because you are irresponsible with finances. Instead, you rather take money and travel to UK and pack the whole 36 governors, the local government chairman, community leaders, and everybody, all of you, people that tell you bye-bye at the airport, we go and tell you welcome in another airport, like ridiculous moves. Meanwhile, there is a large electricity bill that you are owing back home that you have not paid, and you've thrown the whole country into darkness. One of the major challenges I see that we have in this country is just people get into power and forget what they do there. They think it's opportunity to just go enjoy themselves, opportunity to just waste money. And simple things like this come and start biting us biting us because our leaders refuse to do the right thing. So it's with very heavy heart. Electricity is on one side, insecurity is on one side. Kebbi yesterday, about 9 soldiers were killed and I think 1 sustained injury when bandits, over banditry. We have that one on one side fighting, and we also have electricity on one side. So it is very ridiculous that at this time of our existence as a nation, simple things, mundane things as paying your bill that you incur as a government becomes a difficult thing to do, that debt now runs into trillion. Now, one might argue that, well, the debt didn't start with this present administration. Well, it's true. Well, they have started clearing it. If they are as responsible as they told us they were, they should have started clearing it before now. Unfortunately, they haven't. So, if my PD is ready, we'll go on a very short, quick break, and when we're back, we have our guests on set, and we'll go more into it. Stay tuned.
Welcome to DERSAG Engineering and Services Limited. We hold several specialized permits with the Department of Petroleum Resources, are accredited with service and product codes by NIPEX, certified by Dun & Bradstreet, and proudly ISO 9001:2015 certified. Our areas of expertise cut across critical sectors, including manpower sourcing and supply, engineering services, construction and fabrication works, specialized procurement and supply, operations and maintenance services, and integrated marine services, delivering supply boats, crew boats, tugboats, barges, houseboats, and speed boats. At DERSAG Engineering, we are committed to quality, safety, and timely delivery, ensuring that every project meets and exceeds expectations. DERSAG Engineering and Services Limited, your trusted partner in delivering world-class engineering and energy solutions.
All right, you're welcome back to TVM Express. We have our guest with us this right there, the person of Engineer Frederick Mama. Engineer, you're welcome.
I'm glad to be on the show.
All right, first of all, when you left your home this morning, was there light?
No, there wasn't. It has been like that for about 3 days.
Okay, so I shouldn't ask if there was light last night.
At all.
So see, now the Gencos have said the reason why the power has been bad in the last couple of days is because they could not afford to buy gas that the federal government is owing them, right? Then another news broke that the federal government or the presidency says they are moving from the national grid and they are going off grid. I know you're a solar dealer. That's good news for you. But with Genco's old trillions and this government institution moving off grid, now, do you think our power sector is facing a structural breakdown?
Well, I would say yes to that, because when doing business, when you owe people, it's difficult to really leave that
Debt.
behind and just move to another
That's true.
person, because the person is going to react.
Yeah.
So, and I believe this is a way of them protesting and reacting, which is very valid in business. They are not here to help us. They are not here. They are there to do business too. So if you feel you can just boycott them like that after owing them a lot, owing them, I think it's even bad for them, because governments have been known over time to be irresponsible when it comes to payment of debts like this. So they I think they had no other choice than to make this, although there are other valid constraints like the gas issue, like the shortage of gas, and
Wait, hold on before we go towards their constraint. I am still a bit I'm still befuddled by. I am still I'm amazed. No, it's not amazing. I am aghast. That's the term. I'm
nothing
aghast.
surprises Momo anymore.
I am aghast. that our presidency can, with their full chests,
Yeah.
gym with weights after lifting iron and their chest pumped out,
Go for solar.
spread and come to tell Nigerians that, all right, we are leaving you people with the national grid, we want to go off grid. What signal does that send to the
Very,
average
very
Nigerian?
negative one, because at least, even if the Gencos cannot provide enough electricity for the populace, at least they should be able to, at least, even if it's one line for Aso Rock, just to give the people a sense of hope. Instead of this they just did, moving from the grid to renewable energy. It's checkmate
Yeah.
for us. Like, there is no hope.
And it gives credence to what some people have actually been saying about this current administration, particularly from the top, that they move and behave like they are running their private homes.
Exactly.
Like they just make decisions that like is their private homes, and they forget that they actually voted or elected into office to represent a group of people.
I think that's number one fundamental issue with governance in this country.
Exactly.
Once the moment they get there, they don't really know why they are there anymore.
Because we might argue, we might agree. Well, it costs a lot to pay. Electricity costs a lot. Yes, that is a valid argument. But guess what? Nigerians pay. You are the leader. If it costs a lot, you should either be thinking of what do we do to reduce this cost for Nigerians so it doesn't cost this much. But your solution was, let's leave them and let's go to something else. It's not consistent. As a leader, your solution should be, how do we make this consistent? But what you decide to do, just like a man in his house, private house, decide that, okay, since they are not bringing light, let me install solar.
Government, let me cut you. Sorry to cut you short. Government spends way less on payment of power than household. If you go to agencies, if you see the amount of bill, or if you go to universities, the same thing. If you go to the local government, the same thing. Almost all the government agencies are the ones owing bulk of these bills, but yet they will not pay. And now you see them moving away.
Well, we hope the time will come where leadership will be responsible in this country. Now, let's go back to what the problem is. Now, this debt that the Gencos are crying about, how does it affect actual electricity supply in Nigeria from your experience?
Well, because of what they generate. The problem, I think, one of the major problem is what they generate and how much is given, how much we get at the end of the day. So the remaining ones that don't, because of the transmission line and all that, the remaining ones, I'm sure somebody somehow needs to pay for that, for the energy loss.
Of course.
Exactly. And I think that's where the major issue is. And I think the government, I'm not sure about this, and I think the government must have told them, don't worry, we'll have a way to compensate for this.
Okay. Explain why the bill is that high.
Exactly. Because I know that a lot of Nigerians pay bills. So I still don't know why the bill is getting this high. So the only reason that makes sense is that the energy losses needs to be accounted for, needs to be paid for, because they will keep generating at that capacity, whether half of it gets to us or not. They always want to generate at that because if they reduce it, it's also going to reduce even the little ones that get to us. So somebody has to pay for that, and I'm sure the government must have made arrangements of a way of paying that, which they are not coming through for.
Okay. Now, one of the solutions that people have postulated or brought forward towards solving this electricity crisis is in private investments. And the government actually took some steps with the distribution companies when they disbanded the Power Holding Corporation of Nigeria, then PHCN, and distribution companies came on board and to distribute. Though they have not been able to, I think they've done that with generation too. You have different generations, but the problem now is we want more, but the ones we have, we are owing. Do you think this is going to undermine investors' confidence in the Nigerian power sector, or do you think this is even already undermining it?
Of course, because in order to even run a business, you need electricity. In order to go off the grid, going off the grid, it's just easy to say, go and fix solar, go and fix solar. It's expensive.
Very.
It's expensive for just a small business, let alone a multi-dimensional business. It is not easy. You have to be looking at about 50 to 100 kilowatts, if not more than, to be able to power a small office. So it's not easy. That's why people are still hopeful. People are still trying to rely on power generated by the government. But if they cannot get that, it's always going to discourage businesses.
So you think, aside from even businesses, what about people who wants to invest in the power sector? Do you think this consistent debt is going to hinder the interest of people coming to invest in power sector?
Yes, a lot, because the government is not fair. When dealing with the government of Nigeria, I'm sorry to say, they can just wake up one day, they can just wake up anytime and just snatch deals away from the table and just tell you things have changed.
Okay. Now, the report we have is that 10 billion has been allocated for that solar project against 47 billion that the federal government pays yearly for power.
Oh,
I'm sure that they were not meeting up with that payment,
yes.
Hence the debt. And then the idea is, if we're spending 10 billion, it makes sense. Against 47 billion, yes, it makes sense. But the problem is, the 47, there are other important apparatus in this country that needs electric, like hospitals, for instance.
Yeah.
If I believe that Nigerians might not have reacted the way they have reacted if the president or the presidency had come to say, okay, all the federal medical centers in Nigeria want to take them completely off grid, make it solar.
It would have been something of an upload.
That would have applauded them.
Yeah, exactly.
So it still goes down to the idea of running the office like a private personal thing. All right, now, do you think this movement by this move by the federal government, is there going to be a cascading effect on other institutions? Would you see more institutions now leaving this national grid and going to solar?
I think they are already doing it. Yes, I think they're already doing it, leaving the power grid behind, because at the end of the day, nobody is going to question you. Nobody is going to ask you, as long as you don't bother anybody. People will always move out, and then the power business itself will not be attractive anymore.
Yeah. At that point, the investors that were looking to come in to do things
would not want.
Yeah. It's sad. It's sad. But in your view, what needs to happen immediately? I think that's the right word. What needs to happen immediately to stabilize this sector?
Well, I think Edo State, is it Abia State, have actually showed us. I think Abia State have showed Alex Uti.
Yeah.
Alex Uti have showed us the way. I think every other state should follow suit. I think if you hold power at the federal, I think the federal government has had a way over time. If the center is holding too much, it tends to begin to cave. I think the issue of power should be should be primarily controlled by the states.
Okay.
I think it makes it easier. Like the Oshomo power plant, although that one is having issues now, but the governor of the state have assured the citizens that
As Edo State.
Yes, Edo State. He has even signed a new contract to start another power plant.
Wow.
But I think
how many power plants are in that state now?
Like two or so.
No, I think they're more than two.
Yeah, they're more than two.
I know of Oshomo power plant.
I know of Oshomo power plant.
There's another one. I'm trying to remember the name. I think I know about 3 power plants.
Okay.
Okay. And meanwhile, that state, they don't have electricity like that.
They still don't have electricity.
Oh, interesting. All right, interesting times ahead, and we hope that for the sake of all of us, because it is the weather is
decentralize a lot of things.
Yeah, the weather is hot. I found it difficult to sleep without having some form of electricity in my house in the night because the weather is so hot, and this is crazy. A lot of people are out there lamenting. So this is where it becomes real, because if the system weakens at the level of the presidency, the impact will trickle down to Nigerians. So if the presidency is lamenting that their light bill is too high,
what about us?
What would you do? According to the Bible,
it's expensive to get fuel. You can't go.
What shall the righteous do? All right, we take a quick break and we'll come back. We'll look at the critical state of Nigeria and how Nigerians are managing their affairs. Do stay tuned.
Welcome to DERSAG Engineering and Services Limited. We hold several specialized permits with the Department of Petroleum Resources, are accredited with service and product codes by NIPEX, certified by Dun & Bradstreet, and proudly ISO 9001:2015 certified. Our areas of expertise cut across critical sectors, including manpower sourcing and supply, engineering services, construction and fabrication works, specialized procurement and supply, operations and maintenance services, and integrated marine services, delivering supply boats, crew boats, tugboats, barges, houseboats, and speed boats. At DERSAG Engineering, we are committed to quality, safety, and timely delivery, ensuring that every project meets and exceeds expectations. DERSAG Engineering and Services Limited, your trusted partner in delivering world-class engineering and energy solutions.
If democracy had an engine room, the National Assembly would be right at the center of it. From lawmaking to keeping government powers in check, this arm of government plays a crucial role in how Nigeria is run. But what exactly does the National Assembly do, and why does it matter to us as everyday Nigerians? Let's break it down.
The National Assembly is Nigeria's federal legislature, established under the 1999 Constitution. It is responsible for making laws for the entire country and represents the Nigerian people at the national level. Nigeria operates a bicameral legislature, meaning the National Assembly has 2 chambers. The first is the Senate, which consists of 109 members. Each of Nigeria's 36 states elects 3 senators, while the Federal Capital Territory elects 1. The second chamber is the House of Representatives, made up of 360 members elected from federal constituencies across the country, based largely on population. Together, these 2 chambers ensure that both population size and geographical spread are represented in national decision-making. So why does Nigeria operate 2 legislative chambers instead of 1? The bicameral system is designed to promote balance and careful decision-making. While the House of Representatives reflects population distribution, the Senate ensures equal representation of each state. This structure prevents dominance by more populous regions and encourages broader national consensus before laws are passed. It also creates an internal system of checks where both chambers review and debate legislation independently. The primary responsibility of the National Assembly is lawmaking. A proposed law, known as a bill, can be introduced by a lawmaker or forwarded by the executive arm of government. Each bill goes through a structured process. The first reading, where it is formally introduced. The second reading, where principles are debated. The committee stage, where detailed examination takes place. And the third reading, where final approval is sought. Public hearings may be held, allowing experts, civil society groups, and citizens to contribute to the process. Once passed by both chambers, the bill is sent to the president for assessment. If the president refuses to sign, the Constitution allows the National Assembly to override that decision with a 2/3 majority, reinforcing legislature's independence. But the work of the National Assembly doesn't stop at lawmaking. One of its most critical responsibilities is oversight. This means monitoring how government ministries, departments, and agencies carry out their duties. Through committee hearings, investigations, and summons, the National Assembly can question public officials on policy implementation and spending. Ministers and heads of agencies are required to explain their actions and justify the use of public funds. This oversight role is vital for transparency, accountability, and preventing misuse of power. One of the most influential powers of the National Assembly lies in the nation's finances. Each year, the President presents the national budget to a joint session of the National Assembly. Lawmakers review the proposed spending, debate allocations, and make necessary amendments. No government can legally occur without the approval of the National Assembly. The legislature also approves external and domestic loans, monitors government borrowing, and ensures that the public funds are spent according to approved budgets. This authority gives the National Assembly significant influence over Nigeria's economic priorities and development plans. Members of the National Assembly are elected to speak for the people. Lawmakers represent specific constituencies and senatorial districts. They raise motions, sponsor bills, and advocate for projects that reflect the needs of their communities. Ideally, this ensures national policies consider the realities on ground, from infrastructure and education to security and healthcare. Through this representative role, citizens' concerns are meant to reach the federal level. The National Assembly also serves as a guardian of the Constitution. It has the power to amend the Constitution, approve key appointments such as ministers and ambassadors, and confirm judicial nominees. In extreme cases, the National Assembly can initiate impeachment proceedings against the President, Vice President, and other top officials following constitutional procedures. These responsibilities help maintain balance among Nigeria's three arms of government: the executive, legislature, and judiciary. Despite its importance, the National Assembly faces criticism. Issues such as low public trust, concerns over transparency, and debates around remuneration have shaped public perception. However, the effectiveness of the National Assembly often reflects broader democratic challenges, including voter participation, accountability, and civic engagement. Strengthening the legislature ultimately requires active citizen involvement and sustained democratic pressure.
In simple terms, the National Assembly makes laws, checks government powers, controls public spending, and represents the people. While debates continue about performance and responsibilities, its role remains central to democracy. Understanding how it works helps citizens know where power lies and how to demand for better governance. Alright guys, that is all on this episode of Explained. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms. Follow, like, and share, and we'll see you next time.
I don't even know how to begin this conversation. I don't know how to start this talk. You know, usually I say things like, "Oh, I don't get involved in politics. I don't talk about politics." In fact, the country, the industry, a couple of things, kind of makes you. They'll tell you, don't discuss religion or politics or something, and so you fall into that category where you say, "I don't like to talk politics." No, That's the most stupid statement from anybody in Nigeria right now. We should be discussing, we should be talking about it, we should be trying to fix, we should be inquiring about what is happening in the nation. There's nothing like sitting on the fence. Now it doesn't make any sense. I have a child, so I'm thinking for not just as for myself. Today I bought fuel, petrol. I bought petrol for 1,300 and something thousand naira. We don't have lights. We've been running generator back to back. I live on the island, so there's no special treatment. We've been running generator back to back. So I can imagine diesel, most of all the malls and companies, down to the smallest barber shop, run on petrol or diesel. I'm blown away because I'm mentally stressed and I can't even lie. So you don't have light. Diesel is expensive. Fuel is expensive. My staff, a couple of my staff at home are smiling at me and letting me understand that to even come to work now is a problem because the transport is hiking, meaning that their salary is not even enough anymore in a very short period. I don't understand why Nigeria is one of the first countries to be affected by the war in Iran. A blessed nation, a country that a resourceful nation is complaining about fuel price because we are dependent on one refinery, and even that refinery is not, they never got the full support of the government, and then the nation has different refineries that don't function. I don't understand. I'm actually very, very discombobulated. It's messing with my brain, and my spirit is very angry. So what? All the things I'm working for, it is for what? And then I have some colleagues in my industry that are part of something they call a reading leave or something. They relax and the boy is fixing something. I've seen some of them. I've seen Nino's name. I've seen a couple of people. I hope you're asking the right questions. I actually hope you are standing for the right reason. Because I'm stressed.
All right, like Kunle Remy, I also am discombobulated.
It's been terrible. Where
I like when I spend money, I get so I go deep in thought. Like, what kind of problem is this? When will this get better? It is one thing if your expenses are a certain way, but it becomes ridiculous when before you adjust to how high your expenses are, how much you spend for your basic need, it's going up again. Like, you have not come to terms with the fact that transportation is this way, fuel is this way, cost of living is this way. Oh, I need to maybe double my hustle so that I can meet up. Then it goes up again. Gives credence to what I told somebody, that living in Nigeria is like walking. If you are living in Nigeria, you just walk. That's what you do in Nigeria. You don't do any other thing than walk, because you have to make ends meet, and the ends are hardly meeting. Every time the ends get close to each other, something happens and the ring shifts again. So we are looking at the cost of living in Nigeria, the pressure, power supply, and the rising cost of living. And having me, Maro Samuels, who too is also very pissed because she just complained that when she went to the market where she used to go before, the bus driver just doubled it. So right now she doesn't even know who she's angry with, but she's angry. Maro, how angry are you?
I'm very angry. I'm extremely upset. But unfortunately, there are no. I wish that there are people to hold accountable to. In a normal and a sane environment, there will be people to hold accountable, right? Because tell me why it's now, months after that, the Minister of Power is coming out to say he's sorry. What should we do with your apologies, sir? Please, what should Nigerians do with that apology?
It's
It's a lack of accountability, because you allow this thing to linger on for this long before coming out to say, oh, we are sorry. You're not even proffering a reasonable solution. You are coming out to tell us you are sorry. Meanwhile, the federal, the Aso Rock has left us hanging.
Yeah, they've abandoned us.
They've abandoned us, they've left us hanging, and we are on our own as it is.
As it stands, we are now.
But then you're apologizing for us to do what? So what should we do with your apology?
Let's look at overall purchasing power of Nigeria. How it has shrunk. How it has shrunk. Inflation at this moment, I think we have a slide or a graphics about inflation. When you look at inflation, the inflation rate according to trading economists has gone up to 15.1%. That is even in January. This is not, we're not talking of March now. Of course, you know, Nigeria, before they release data, still the same, whether it's the fear that is the challenge, but it takes time to get data. But as of January, inflation rate has gone up about 15.1%. Then petrol price right now is 1,300 naira to a liter, 1,300 naira to a liter, and the poverty rate is 63% of Nigerians are poor. That is according to the Punch newspaper. And if you do a comparison in 2020, this shows us the chain of how the food, how prices go up. If fear goes up, transportation goes up, then so does food prices, then so does cost of living. Now you see what is not in this chain is earning power.
Right.
Yeah, because fuel goes up, transport goes up, food goes up, living cost goes up. What you earn doesn't go up.
And unfortunately, it's just when it seems to look as if the price of foods are beginning to come down, or was beginning to come down,
yeah,
and you know, and everybody. I mean, Gary before was about 3,500 naira, or 3,000 something, but now it's about 1,002, 1,005. Nigerians were still adjusting to this new price reduction, and then all of a sudden it has come again. Palm oil, the same thing, you know, different food stock, and we're just, why must it affect everything? And somebody asked this morning, I was on my way to work this morning, and somebody asked, why was Nigeria, or why is Nigeria among the first countries to be affected with this fuel price thing?
We have just one refinery, according to what some people will say. So we have just one refinery, with the one owned by Dangote, right? And
but isn't that a shame? If each time I hear that, I get pissed the more. Isn't that a shame that a whole country is depending on one man? And we have refineries, the Warri refinery is there, the Port Harcourt refinery is there. We have refineries in different states in the country, but will I say that they've purposely decided to not work on these refineries? They just want to solely rely on Dangote refineries, and the day that Dangote says there's no fuel, everybody will be stranded.
Yeah, and what is even ironic, or what is even interesting, is Nigeria is a major oil producer. We still end up, or Dangote rather, still imports crude oil to produce petroleum. That's why the price in Nigeria went up. If we were supplying crude to Dangote, or Dangote was getting the crude from Nigeria, the effect might not be that much. But because we need to depend on the crude oil that is coming from outside the country, that is also being affected by the war in Iran, the Hamas Strait debacle, it means he had to now buy crude at the price that everybody buys, and that has affected.
Still at a higher price.
Now, yes, that is a very good argument for Dangote, but it's not an excuse for our government.
No, it's not.
Because since we are a major oil producing country, we shouldn't have been. He shouldn't, especially when we only have one refinery.
Yeah.
Especially when we have only one refinery. So crude oil shouldn't have been an issue or a problem for us. But unfortunately, it is. You at some point you mentioned we were mentioning the prices of food. Now, according to Data Fight Insight, groceries that cost 25,225 naira in 2020 now costs 147,500 50 naira in 2026.
That is more than 100%.
That is 500. That is 582%.
Jesus
increment.
Christ.
In 2020, I don't think regular staff or regular workers who earn salary have gotten 100% increment in their salary. So it means even if you've gotten increment, you are paying 500 times, you're spending 500 times more than you were spending 6 years ago.
Yes, because I remember in year 2020, there about 2020, 2021. I'll use myself for instance because I can only speak for myself. I used to buy a carton of pasta. I used to buy a carton of pasta for 8,000 naira then. The price now is outrageous. I do not know the current market price, but I know that I think one pasta in market is about 1,200 naira.
Let me even give you one that everybody can relate to. In 2020, a bottle of mineral was like 80 naira.
Oh yeah, for the soda people.
Yeah, now it's 500 naira. That is 500%.
That is yes. That is. But that is Jesus. That is it's too outrageous. Nigerians are complaining. Everybody's lamenting. But you know, Nigerians, as it is, Nigerians we just complain. I think that Nigerians just complain behind closed doors and we hope and pray for a Messiah to come. Guess what? There's no Messiah coming to save anybody. We just have to, you know, look for a way to hold our leaders accountable. Because even one video I saw recently, the president was saying that we have to hold our state governors and our local government chairmen responsible. Because the president will not be everywhere doing everything. We need to hold these people responsible for some little things that we see that's not going on well.
Yeah, that brings me to perfect introduction to something that I have been thinking of. Now, local government in Nigeria, we allocated the sum of 5.35 trillion naira throughout 2025. 5.35 trillion local government throughout 2025 fiscal year. Last year, I was trying to imagine what the local government I live in, what was the project that they did, right? I couldn't really get one apart from maybe patching a couple of roads. Then in 2026, as of March 2026, local government has been allocated an additional 1.33 trillion naira. In January, they shared 513.27 billion, February 361.75 billion, and March so far 456.47 billion. Now, with this amount of money being given to the local government, you would expect that there would be some improvement on the finite level of governance, where at least good roads. In Delta State, for instance, we still have the state governor tying the roads.
Yeah.
Still have him working on the roads. The local governments are not forthcoming. So it begs the question, what are local government? They've been crying for autonomy for years. Now you have autonomy, they are giving you money. What are you doing with these funds? Right? The Nigerians' purchasing power have drastically reduced. When we have situations like these where fear has gone up, responsible government will on their own do something to cushion the effects on these people. But no, not our own, not our government. So what exactly should Nigerians do? Well, the first thing that I noticed that Nigeria has been doing, Maro, is side hustle.
Yes, so that side hustle is very important. But even inside the side hustle, people are still suffering. It's now as if the side hustle is taking more stress than the main hustle should take. Based on this local government, based on this local government thing you were saying, you saw me putting on my torchlight. Yes, I want to put on my torchlight. I want to let the local government chairman of Oye local government area know that my torchlight is on you. Hello, sir. My torchlight is on you. Honorable Antonio Foni, you see my torchlight is on you because I do not know what you are doing, sir. We've not seen what the local government chairman of Oye local government area is doing. Is it the wire fence you put on every market that's the project that you're doing, or is it the renovation and the repainting of schools that do not have enough students or pupils that you're doing? Because these schools don't have enough students. It's either they are overpopulated or they are underpopulated with students or teachers. Because that's where it's in Uwe, local government area, that I got to know that one teacher will teach up to 3 classes.
Like all the subjects.
One teacher will teach primary 1, primary 2, primary 3.
All the subjects.
Yes, all the subjects. So yes, all the subjects. So what are you doing, sir? Please.
That's ridiculous.
My touchlight is on you. See, let's not go this route, but please, we need to know what you people are doing. You know, like this guy on Instagram, Scotty Guma, was saying, and he was urging people, and he said he will urge that the local governments areas have a verified social media platforms that Deltans can monitor them through. And I think that makes sense, because how else are we going to monitor you? Because at least the governor of Delta State will see what he does once or twice on social media, but we don't see what these people are doing. The local government chairman.
Okay, maybe we'll pay a visit to them.
Yes, we will.
To explain to us what because this is barely 4 months into the year, and you people have shared already this year already. You people have already shared 1.33 trillion. I mean, no, 3.77 trillion already. I hope I'm not missing it up. For 2026, yes, 1.33 trillion already. For January to March 2026, 1.33 trillion. That's a huge amount of money to have been shared.
The way they just call these amounts like it's 10,000 naira. The way they just call it as if trillion. Do you know how many billions is 1 trillion?
So now the effects, or the cascading effects of this cost of living has been the shrinking purchasing power. And you now have people doing side hustles that is not hustling well. Like a lot of people have a lot of side hustles.
Side hustles is draining people now more than the main hustle.
That is why I still stand.
There is a need for side hustle, but side hustle is draining people now.
That's why I still stand on my ground that Nigeria is like a labor camp. You just work.
You're just working.
You do your 9 to 5. Then you go and do your night shift. Then wake up the next morning to your 9 to 5. Then you go and do your night shift. Like
you're just working, and the ends are still not meeting. You're working to make ends meet, but the more you work, the more the ends are just drifting apart. Like
and the next thing you see people do is people start downgrading their lifestyles. Like the Nollywood actor complained that he has been on generator for the past couple of days, and I was like, yeah, because you can't even buy FSF. There are people that, when this power thing started, I was looking at my gen, and my gen was looking at me. Not today. I'm not going to put you on. I will not put you on, because you know what that is going to cost me. But before, once power goes off, my gen is up. Every time power goes, my gen is on.
Then you're a big boy.
Now I don't even know what I am anymore.
Struggling Nigerian.
So we now do survivor budgeting every time. So I beg, I'm pleading, and I also would like the presidency to put more control on local governments.
Yes.
Because granted, they are we say they've given it. When I mean control, I mean kind of is it the presidency or the state government, the House of Assembly rather, the State House of Assembly?
The State House of
Assembly should do their job of being the watchdog and make sure local governments do what they ought to do. But I think one of the major challenges, they too are not doing what they ought to do. So they kind of now lack the moral compass to do the right thing. A thief cannot call another person a thief.
Yeah.
Especially when the other person also knows you're a thief.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that too is the issue that we are having, that looks like our local governments are just collecting money quietly and just moving quietly, like moving so silently. A lot of Nigerians are not even aware.
Not anymore. Not anymore. We're putting our searchlight on you all. Not anymore. We're going to be dragging you by the ear, if possible, going forward. Not anymore.
All right, we went to the streets, or rather, Mario went to the streets, and he checked the pulse of some citizens of Warri, because we're in Warri, to see how the fear is affecting them. If the PD is ready, let's have that on the screen.
Okay, so how has the increase in the price of fuel been affecting your business recently?
Now, my sister, I won't lie to you. Seriously, the thing is really, really affecting me badly. It's really, really affecting me because, when you talk of laundry, you need fuel, you need light, short power to wash, you need power to iron. And by the time you don't have power, you need to run into a chain. Buying of fuel is about 1,300, 1,400. So running a generator from morning till, let me just say 6 hours or 12 hours a day, you spend not less than 15 to 18,000 naira a day. It's really, really affecting. I won't lie to you. And we just pray that government will do something about this. It's not really, really easy at all. It's not easy at all. It's affecting.
I must say it is very disappointing. In fact, they are taking this in as if we are the one that is the cause of Iran and Israel war. That is the truth. We are producing fuel in Nigeria, and besides, we have refineries around here, so we are not even exporting fuel. The fuel is here, so I don't know what the hike of fuel is. Now the way it is now, somebody is working for transport. You will get home, you collect salary, you collect payment, you'll be thinking of how to pay rent. Landlords are not smiling. The women in the market, I see everywhere, it's market day. See, look how dry market it is not busy. People are going to buy fuel. They are passing by the tomatoes you are supposed to cook for your family to go and buy fuel. And the heat is here. No light, there is heat. Okay, to breathe, you need the fuel to run generator. The life no balance now. And now you tell me that I should carry voters card to go and vote for which election again? Well, election that God knows how it's going to be. Although we know it's going to be, but God will help us. But seriously, it is disappointing. I am really disappointed that fuel hike is happening again in Nigeria, which is not supposed to be.
The hike in price has drastically affected us because since the removal of subsidy, we've been experiencing up and down, economic, economy. But now we're just trying to settle down. Then they are bringing this new hike in price. Transportation has increased. If you want to go to a place,
what has increased, ma?
Transportation. Let's assume you want to go where we go with 150 naira. We now travel with 200, 300, 400. It has increased, and the worst part is that our economy, our finance has not increased. If you're a salary earner, a civil servant, it has not increased. They've not increased your pay, but things have increased. It's affecting us.
So what do you think? So what do you think the government should do?
The government should try and step into it to see that there's a reduction in this fuel hike. It should step into it, because once the fuel is affected, it affects economy, house rents, transportation, and even other things in the society. So the government should step into in any way they can to see that the price is reduced.
As a Nigerian, I feel the hike in price or the increase in price has caused a lot of hardship, untold pain. People are going through stress right now. You imagine where you transfer from here to somewhere, transfer from here to somewhere for like 200 naira. Currently now the price has increased double. It takes 400. Somehow it has caused a lot of things. People going to market to pick up to buy things, they find stress to go to market. I feel generally it has affected our economy, it has affected our life. We don't have ease to approaching areas where we want to go, like go to our place of service, churches, go to our works. There's financial constraint on people. So I feel if the government can work on this current price of fuel and bring it to normal, it will help the life of people. Thank you.
This recent increment of price, it has really affected me personally a lot, because in my business now, I have a business that I'm doing, and most of my business, like I do recharge of GoTV and DSTV, and most of my customers now for a very long time now, they have stopped subscribing, in the sense that there is no light. And had it been the fuel is a little bit down, they could still be buying fuel to watch one or two. But for now, they are not even subscribing at all. Then that to my other businesses. I don't even have light now to even do anything.
How is it affecting you for transportation? Because I understand, because I believe that you pay transport from one place to another.
Transportation, it has increased. Because where I normally stay, I take two keke. From my house down to junction, I take bike. Then from there to my business place, I take keke down. Before I do spend 300 naira, but now it's about 500 naira just to go come.
All right, you're welcome back. That was Maro doing her thing, and you saw the citizens of Warri complaining. What struck me, the one that struck me was that man. What was he even selling? The man in that shop. The shop was so empty.
Is it?
He could not buy goods again.
Lack of funds. Everybody's suffering. Lack of funds to get goods to stock up his shop. See how empty the shop was looking.
Like people will say, in Nigeria you walk to work. That's presently we are just working to continue working.
To
continue working. You know, when I was growing up,
like that guy said that guy said he said they just were walking to buy fuel. We're passing tomatoes I was supposed to eat or walking to buy fuel. It's now that bad. It's now that bad.
No, some couple of years ago as a kid, there used to be this nursery rhyme that we used to sing in school, and that our staple food is yam. We eat it every day. We plant it in our farm, and that is.
Now we know they see yam plant.
I'm not sure they do that again because it would be a lie. At that point, it was the truth. There was yam like every time you're eating yam. Now, if you tell a child that, they're like yam, okay. When was the last time I saw
it's not like a luxury. Even Gary is not like a luxury.
That used to save the common man now.
Yes.
It's not saving anybody.
Gary that used to be a poor man's food is now everybody's food now.
So it is ridiculous. And
I can't remember the last time. Sorry to God, that reminds me. I can't remember the last time I heard somebody say, "Oh, I don't eat Gary anymore. I eat semovita. I eat wheat." You want to see the money buy wheat and all those things. It has to be Gary. You manage. Don't worry. You manage.
Even the Gary is expensive.
You will manage.
All right. So the question now is, why are things high in Nigeria? Why do you think things are high in Nigeria? Well, first, there is the transportation and fare cost. And that is why there are people who still believe that why subsidy removal was a step in the right direction, it was not properly done. Subsidy removal will tell you that there are things that are right but not correct. Like there are things that, yes, it should be done, but the way it is done is very important.
Approach.
Yes, the manner in which it is done. When subsidy was removed, the way Nigerians heard it, we felt it. But at least at that point in time, there was some fictitious, I call it fictitious because we all know it was fake, sense of responsibility that government did. Some governors got bosses. That is why I believe it was fake, because there were governors who got bosses, fueled these buses to carry people around for subsidized rates. It's not as if the cost of transportation came down. After a couple of months, that project stopped. That's why it's fictitious. It just stopped. They just did it that time to just maybe put their name as one of those that care for their people. You know, transportation is a challenge. We have the 63% of Nigerians are now living in poverty, and I don't know if we can get the definition of what poverty is.
I'd like to add abject poverty. You know, when they say, this is abject poverty, you know that, oh, there's no hope, no turning back. As it is now, it's now seeming like that, like Nigerians are going into abject poverty because only God can save.
In economics, poverty is defined as a socio-economic state where individuals or households lack sufficient financial resources and income to meet minimum basic needs. Now, there are two words there joined together: minimum and basic needs. This includes food, water, shelter, and health care. It represents an inability to maintain a standard of living commonly accepted within the society. And we are now saying that 63% of us in this country cannot meet the minimum basic needs, including food, water, shelter, and health care. That is a bad indices. That is a bad indices. And like we have established, rising cost of transportation is a factor in it. I don't know. I don't know what transporters can do. I don't know what the transporters should do. They have every right to increase the cost of transportation as the fare price go. But I also think that there should be a level of understanding of this increment. Like it should be, like some, we are in Nigeria.
Yeah.
We're all Nigeria, we all hear it. Then there is also currency depreciation and input costs. The devaluation of the naira too has also made agricultural inputs, like when we talk of things like fertilizer and agrochemicals, it has made these things more expensive. So if fertilizer is now expensive, it means the cost for local farmers to produce in the farm has gone up. So that has also added to the price.
Yeah.
Then there is the seasonal demand and stockpiling. Ramadan, they just finished the fast. There are people who bought stockpiled things in the month of Ramadan. So when there is a spike in demand, naturally prices will go up. Then there's supply chain disruption. Now, this has been one of the major factors that has affected Nigeria, supply chain disruption. Our basic food comes from the north to the south. At some point, people could not safely travel from the north to the south. People could not safely carry food items from the north to the south. It has improved. I think that was when the federal government had to now do this trade railway lines to carry. So to a large extent, it has improved. So despite this improvement, the disruption in production and distribution channels, partially due to insecurity in some farming communities, persists, and it's keeping supply chain low. Now, these are some of the reasons why food prices, and we can also take away external factors. But the fact remains, why there are external factors like global food prices, international debt obligations, and then even the sudden rise in fuel costs recently as a result of the war in Iran. If our government has responsibly done what they ought to have been doing, we won't have felt it that much. Then the slide you're seeing on your screen has to do with the electricity problem, because why we are complaining that the cost of food has gone up, we don't have light. If there was enough power now to at least, we are not sweating the way we are. This thing is hard because we are sweating. Imagine somebody in this hot heat, he cannot eat. He doesn't have money for food. Assuming there was light now, he will put on his fan and just lie down on the bed.
And then he will not eat.
Yeah, at least he will sleep small. He will calm down. Then probably
when they wake up, what will happen?
Probably he cannot calm down enough to think of, okay, how do I get something to eat?
It's still, the person will still eat eventually. Whether there's light or no light, the hunger will still be there.
Imagine a man. Let's just imagine a man who has 4 children.
Yeah.
And he's a minimum worker or less than a minimum worker earner, right? And he's in his house. There's no light in the night, and he's using one sheet of paper to blow heat. He's not wearing shirt, a tight wrapper because of heat. All his body looks like he came out from swimming pool.
Yeah.
Then the wife now comes and tell him, food is not finished. Just imagine how his blood pressure will just rise all of a sudden.
But the funny thing is, no matter how all of these things get worse, we still will not eat sand.
Yeah,
that is how life has been. No matter how, and that's why there's this proverb that says, no matter how hard it is in the jungle, lion will not eat grass. But some lion has been eating grass, but let's not go there. But
lion eat grass in the museum.
But let's not go there. So this brings me to say, no matter how hard it is, people will not eat sand. There's poverty in the land, yes. There's hunger in the land, yes. There's starvation and drought and famine and whatever name you want to give it, yes. But are we going to eat sand? No.
So what do?
We keep hustling, we keep working, we keep doubling our hustle. But the government people that are supposed to have our backs are looking us in the face to say, oh, we are what that video of the Minister of Power, what that video just says to me is, oh, I'm sorry, we cannot help you. you people are on your own as it is, so because federal government itself, they've gone on to use power, so as it is, all man for themselves. We are sorry, this is the best we can do. That's what it sounds like in so many Nigerians' ears. And that's an insult to Nigerians. Because first of all, that apology is coming out late. And then you're not even saying something that Nigerians should hold on to. No hopeful things for Nigerians to hold on to say, okay, that they're assuring us that, okay, by so time we'll have something meaningful to live by. It's just so crazy.
While we are critical of the government, I think it's also fair that we highlight what they have been doing. We understand that there's a presidential emergency food distribution, which is a coordinated national response targeting the 10 most affected states, because while we are in Delta State and we are making all these complaints, there are places like Borno State, Adamawa State, and Benue State that bandits and insecurity has reduced to almost that, to the point that they almost can't do anything. You can't even live in your house again, because also there was a presidential emergency food distribution targeting these states, like to provide them with immediate food and nutrition for the vulnerable household. Then I think the government is also working. There's the executive committees working to ensure safe passage of agricultural goods across transport routes to cut down logistic costs and reduce market prices. I think that is something they should look very critical into. If they can be a temporary, maybe to show the effect of the rise in international fuel price, you can actually maybe do something to cut down logistic costs, because fear directly affects food price. Whether we like it or not, it will directly affect.
Because these people have to pay transport from their farms to the market. And
so if there can be some moves to cut down that logistic cost, it will help reduce the market prices. And I think they say they are doing that. Then there was what they call GMP. Guys, GMP is guaranteed minimum price. Yeah, guaranteed minimum price. There is a plan that are on the way. It's a plan. It has not been. It's not set in motion yet.
Not been planned.
Yeah, they've not finished planning it. But they are working on introducing a minimum price guarantee for farmers to protect them from price volatility while ensuring a steady uptake of harvest. Then the Central Bank of Nigeria, I understand, is maintaining high interest rates that is started from February. They are doing that to stabilize the naira and curb overall inflation. That's why you see, despite the prayers of fear gone up, we've not heard the news that naira has gone down. The naira, even if the value is high, but it's just steady. It's steady.
It's a bit stable now.
It's a bit stable. No, but for the long term, I would recommend security for farmers. Nothing can be done in a state that is not safe. I was having a conversation with somebody about how they manage night shifts in their broadcasting house. And the person said some broadcasting corporations, and I'm aware of that, people who work at night that close maybe 8, 9, 10 p.m., when they are going home, they have to provide them police security.
Or in some cases, they just allow them sleep over.
Then they allow them. In some places, they have to now provide lodges for them to stay. They still sleep over till the next morning. This extra cost is incurred because of security. Like you cannot, with 100% confidence.
Sorry, let me ask: the security that they provide this staff, do they follow them to their houses?
No, they don't. They follow. They are with the vehicle. So where the vehicle drops you.
From there. Yeah. Whatever happens to you,
Where I was, when the office vehicle dropped me, I still have to walk home, and I'm still.
And then from that point to your house, anything can happen.
Yeah, I'm praising the Lord and I'm giving my life anew just for protection. Right. So if there is security, a lot of these things we come down. Then infrastructure and storage. Yeah, farmers in most communities have complained that they can't store their goods. So as soon as they harvest, it has to go to the market.
It has to go off, yeah.
So if we have silos and storage, in season, food can be produced and stored for off seasons.
Sure.
Yeah, for off season.
But that's that one. let's even talk about that. I think that the weather too has to contribute to that. Because as it is now, we do not know which weather we are. If we're in a rainy season, if we're in a dry season, because there are some food stuff that do not store well in the dry season. There are some food stuff that do not store well in rainy season. So such food stuff in this change of weather climate that we have now, how do these farmers now store them, even if they have the storage facilities?
That is where research R&D comes into play.
In.
One problem we've always had in this country is we take global solutions and try to implement it on our own. There are countries in the world where you have fruits and vegetables that are year round. There was a popular vegetable in America. They call it oh God, I've forgotten the name of this. It's in America. Almost every home eats it.
Kale?
No, not kale. God, I've forgotten the name. God, I forgot. I'm surprised I've forgotten the name.
Lettuce?
It's not. No, we don't have it here.
Oh.
We don't have it here. That vegetable is grown in the lab.
In the lab?
It is manufactured. It's a manufactured vegetable.
Wow.
Almost every home they eat it. Right? So, God, I've forgotten the name. If I remember the name, I will tell you. So that is them looking at the peculiarity of their location and what they have, and they solve. Nigeria should look at. We should look at our soil. We should look at our climate and look at our weather and think of an indigenous solutions to solve some of these problems.
So who's going to do that? Is it our mamas and papas in the bush?
There are people. There are people in the Ministry of Agric that collect heavy money every month to do this kind of thing. Now see here, one of the things that I've learned, I've realized with this country is every problem should be solved because there are people who are there to solve them. There are people who have.
And there are people that are paid heavily.
They are paid to solve this problem.
Yeah.
The challenge is these people are not just solving it; they're just there. Nobody's calling them.
But then these people don't even go round to, like I asked now, I said, who are the people that will, because these agencies, these Ministry of Agriculture now, for instance, they will not go to every nooks and crannies in the town that has farms, to see all of these farmers and, do all of this education. So in a case where we say, okay, let the ministries be in charge for that, they will not reach out. They will not be able to reach out to every farmer in every nook and crannies of the community.
They should be able, because that is what they are paid to do.
But this is Nigeria.
That's what they are paid to do. They should be able to have a system that tells you. We're not even talking of subsistence agriculture. We're talking of commercial agriculture. You should have a system to know. In my state, we have such a number of commercial farmers. This is where their farms are. This is what their problems are. This is what they need. This is because food is important. So when you're talking of, you say storing things, some things are not good with weather, storing them when the weather is bad. That is where R&D comes into place. And if we figure out, okay, how do we store so and so things that do not do well in humid temperature? So at the end of what that's going to do, round the year, we have food. Maize now, I don't know if maize is out.
No, it's not yet out.
Maize is not yet out, and this is April.
March.
Oh, this is March. We're going towards April, right?
April.
Maize is not yet out. Last year, I don't know how long that maize season lasted.
Maize usually 3 months now. Maize takes like 3 months.
So what stops maize from lasting round the clock? Why should in 2026 we should be able to achieve things like that? That reduces inflation, reduces the cost of
but like
things.
you said, there are some crops that are all year round. There are some crops that are seasonal crops.
Yeah,
I don't think maize is a seasonal crop. Is an all year round
maize
crop.
is seasonal.
Yes,
but the point is,
crop.
if we can figure out how to store,
we should be able to have maize.
Yeah, we can harvest and store and sell off season.
Yeah. But for fruit like orange, pineapples, those are all year round. They're always in the market.
And should I tell you? Years ago, when I was young, we used to have maize off season. The only difference is we consume it in a different way. Why during the season you can boil the fresh maize and eat. Off season we make pudding with it, make pap with it. Okay. You still see it in the market. All of a sudden, for some reason, we've just forgot how to do
Even
things.
if you see it in the market, now that maize is not in the market like that, even if you see it in the market for those that do pap, like you said, it will now be very expensive.
Very expensive. Yeah, because the people have to do a lot to make sure
to
get
preserve them and all that.
Then there is also mechanization. Like we can partner with global manufacturers and to get mechanized equipment to improve our, because this thing is time. Like we've established, farming is seasonal. So if you have just 3 months to produce a crop like maize, then maximize the time, and mechanized agriculture will help you do that. Then another thing too that we used to have in this country was dry season farming. And that was courtesy of the River Basin Development Authority. I don't know if anybody in this room has ever heard of River Basin Development Authorities. And let me shock you.
That just rang a very old bell.
And let me shock you.
Basin.
Those offices
they still exist.
Still exist.
Yes, and they're still collecting funds.
Still collecting funds. They still collect allocations. They still take salary. They still tell you they are doing research, but we do not see the end of the result of the thing.
That's why I said earlier, this is Nigeria. They will collect allocations, but will they use it? Will they go to the nooks and crannies of these communities to use it and to see that? And even if they claim that they do, who watches them? Who is the watchdog? Which platform checks out that these people are actually doing what they are paid for?
Right now, Nigeria is a country that Nigeria is a country that people even have to watch watchdogs.
Yes. Yes.
So because even the watchdog now, we don't even trust.
We have to watch them.
We don't even trust them.
We need to have watchdogs for watchdogs.
So we don't need to get watchdog for. Like, I think everything that we have spoken about or complained about boils down to a single word, which is corruption. Which is corruption. Like I said before, you can only hold a thief accountable for stealing if you are not a thief.
If you're not a thief.
If you are a thief, when the federal government does budgets, send it to the House of Assembly, and I'm not saying this house, but once upon a time, House of Assembly padded. We might argue that they padded, started putting things, they padded the budget. You know, the House of Assembly is supposed to be watchdog of the federal government, of the presidency. They are the ones padding budgets.
And Nigerians are now watching.
Then that padded budget now goes to the presidency. Presidency now allocates the resources without complaining that this budget was padded.
This was not the initial figure.
Right? Now, if that happens, then the presidency now decides to divert funds. What right will the House of Assembly have to call the presidency to order? If a commissioner for agriculture receives allocation for the month and divides it into two and takes the other half home, then shares the other half to directors of the group. If the directors now get their own and split it into two, what right does the commissioner have to call those directors to order? Although I know commissioner, I don't think commissioner receives. I think it's directors that receive directly. Directors receive. So if the directors split and they send it down to the different supervisors, and those ones are still cutting from inside, what right do they now have to call those ones?
These are the issues.
So you see, it is the problem we majorly have is the lack of righteous people in leadership. When I mean righteous, I don't mean Christians. I mean people who, I'm not using right standing with God. I mean people who are diligent, who are guided with the right moral compass. Who, if they greet you good morning, you can answer good morning. Not somebody that greets you good morning and you open your window to be sure.
But the thing is, some of these agencies, some of these ministries, they actually have diligent workers. All right, we're not going to take it away from them that they don't have diligent workers. They have diligent workers, but the system is already corrupt. So what do? They just have to go in line with what they say.
Even when they don't even go in line, there's nothing they can do. The thing is, in a systemic thread in a system in Nigeria, let's say in a flow of system in Nigeria, from top to bottom, over half of that line will have corrupt officials.
Of course.
That is the challenge.
Of course.
That is the challenge. So, Obasanjo introduced ICPC and also introduced EFCC to curb all these things. ICPC now operates with petitions. That, and to me, sometimes when I hear those kind of things, it is ridiculous. I don't have to petition you to do your job. You say, it's just like, sorry that I'm referring back to this, and I'm hoping we heal and move on. Like what happened in Uzoro, is it Uzoro? Yeah, Uzoro, where the police said, yeah, nobody was raped. No, because nobody came to report that they were raped. Something like that happened. You're waiting for somebody to come and report. What happened to investigations? You can't go and investigate. The same ICPC.
I mean, who would want to come out and say that they were raped?
So it's the same thing. You now have ICPC will tell you, we received the petition. We received the petition. If they don't get petition, they won't investigate. They won't find out. EFCC will tell you the same thing. Anytime EFCC go out of their way to arrest people, after when they go after fraudsters, Yahoo boys, the rest. But for economic government crimes, you need somebody to petition. Somebody needs to push the needle for you. So it's all now like become a ridiculous state of affairs in this country that the smallest problem as fear. Nigeria is not the only country that is experiencing fear, the rise in fear. Even America, in some part of Europe, I understand some part of Europe have started even sharing work days.
Yeah.
In an area, or this group of people go to work this week, this other group go to work this week to reduce the expenses. We cannot do that in Nigeria.
I was going to say that. I mean,
and there's a simple reason. There's a simple reason why we cannot do that in Nigeria. You will the hunger that will squeeze you in. You will come out by yourself. But in countries, in some countries in Europe, they can afford to do that, and because they will be fine. Like, if I don't open my store for 1 week, I'm good.
Oh yes.
Right. Try it in Nigeria. Don't open for 1 day, you will not sleep well. So it is all when people in government come and start giving the excuse that is global. Yes, it's global, but if you have done what you ought to have done, the effect of this global crisis would be minimal. That is just the point. That is just the point.
I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to be laughing, but the way you emphasize on the hunger that we meet. Because unfortunately, it is true. Because tell me why I'm doing a 9 to 5 work and I still have to go home. And like Mr. Lawrence said, I have to go home and face my side hustle and do my 9 shifts. That still is not enough. The ends are not meeting. The ends just keep drifting apart. The more we hustle, the more the ends just keep drifting apart.
I will do a survey one day to find out how many young Nigerians suffer from sleep
insomnia.
Because it's becoming a lot of.
It's becoming the new normal.
Becoming normal. A lot of people will tell you, if we sleep 10, I wake up like 2. If I sleep 12, I wake up like 4. Like, people can't sleep again. It's not because they don't enjoy sleep, but their body now has conformed to the idea that you need to be up and doing. It's up and grateful now. Now it's up and doing.
Up and vexful, up and doing, up and active. And it's unfortunate, most of these young Nigerians that are experiencing, we are young Nigerians. What happens when we get to 50, 60? That's just some of us will even get to the 60. What happens? Because are we going to work our whole lives? Why do we have to suffer this much? What's our offense for being in Nigeria? Oh no, this is not funny, but it's funny.
So, from electricity to cost of living, the message is clear this morning. Economic pressure is building, even amongst us that you see we are here talking. You can see the economic pressure on our
We are suffering and smiling as it is.
The economic pressure is building. And while Nigeria continues to adapt, there is a need for a lasting structural solution that cannot be ignored. This cannot be ignored. And it's not just policy issues. Everyday realities that are affecting millions in Nigeria. Nigeria has over 200 million people in this country. So we pray to the authorities. We're not asking, we are praying to them.
When do we have to pray? It's our constitutional right, Mr. Lawrence, please. We're asking that you do what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
I cannot beg you to do your work. Do what you're supposed to do.
But if they don't do what they're supposed to do now, what do we do?
We keep talking. Because our voice is the only thing that we have at this point. Yeah. So just keep talking and keep shining our touch on them.
What scares
me?
Keep
letting them know that we are watching you.
You know what scares me the most? We are a couple of months to election and things are like this. Like, no.
And then when you talk, they'll tell you, "Oh, it's the opposition party. It's the opposition party." No opposition. Even the leading party, they are suffering. Jesus. Even the leading party is suffering. But they just come out here and they come and do all sorts of. Everybody is complaining. Even the opposition party and the leading party, everybody is complaining. So let's not even get it twisted and say, oh, anybody that comes to complain about this present-day government's opposition, everybody's complaining.
This is not about being against a party or against a leadership or against a. This is just as journalists telling you our truth about what we are experiencing. This is about what we are experiencing. We go to work every day. We use fear. We fear vehicles. We have people working in this office that used to drive to the office before. They have stopped driving. All of a sudden, they are using public transport.
I don't want to use our local palace. And they meet everybody. And don't they touch everybody now.
To come to the office.
It's not funny, oh. It's not funny.
It is going round, and this is the only avenue we have where we can complain. It's the only avenue we have where we can complain. So, please, our government, aside from providing temporary solution to this problem, fix Nigeria. Fix Nigeria. People in countries where they are rotating work days don't have two heads. They breathe oxygen like we do. They eat food like we do.
I don't even think it's that bad for Nigeria to say we should even start rotating off days or rotating work days. Just do what Nigeria has money. Oh.
Yeah, we can't say
There's money in Nigeria.
Do you know why we can't say that? You know why we can't say because
we don't see it.
Everybody in Nigeria sustains himself.
That's the thing.
You're a provider of everything
for yourself.
Power, water, gas, fuel. You provide all for yourself. So security, everything you provide. The only thing that we don't provide for ourselves is the air we breathe. And I can tell you 100%, I am sure, if government was responsible for giving oxygen, we will buy it. I am very sure of that. I will buy it at very high prices. People will just be dropping dead because oxygen supply has run out.
Yeah.
That is how Nigerian government has been operating. They just operate like they are not dealing with human beings. So please, aside from temporary solution to curb the effects right now, because something has to be done. The situation is getting heavy. Government should sit down, put the house in order, and work on making Nigeria a place for sane people. Stop making us look and behave insane. Because I have spoken, I have friends outside the country, right? And sometimes when we talk, they are not Nigerians. Some of them, when we talk at night, and I tell them, oh, I just returned from work, I'm tired. And every day, I am saying that. At the point, what I was forced to ask, you don't have off days? I'm like, yeah, I do have off days, but I need to use the off days for other business. Like I was asking, why? Then someone was trying to invite me to South Africa for a holiday, and I was like, even if I have a month vacation, and the question about holidays and vacation came forth, where he was saying that maternity leave there, I think he was saying it was about 3 months or so, and they even have paternity leave of about 2 months or something like that. In Nigeria, a woman who gives birth cannot stay at home for more than 1 month. The company will call her. What are you doing? Come back to work. It is not because the company wants to be mean or wicked, but they cannot afford to keep you at home for 3 months.
And most of these leave are usually paid. paid
no, the
for.
leaves they are paid for leaves.
Yeah.
You go
So I
on.
cannot afford for you to be at home collecting free money, as it sounds, and the company is suffering for your absence.
My friend in Spain, I have a friend in Spain, she works in Spain. She came into the country in November, and February, this girl was still in Nigeria. I was like, are you not going to resume? Well, say, yes, she's still on vacation. What kind of vacation is that? Meanwhile, I didn't even have vacation at the end of the year. So these people are human beings. The difference is their countries have been so structured that you don't need to kill yourself to live. You don't need to work yourself to death because you want to live. I just hope and pray that we either get the leaders who can think towards that direction and take us towards that direction, or this current leadership does that. It is not just about enriching and empowering people around you. It's about making the country good, making the country great, making the country sustainable, because you are going to have children, you're going to have children, and whether you believe it or not, one day down the line in your genealogy, you might now have a generation that do not have money. There have been wealthy Nigerians down, whose great grandparents were wealthy, that are not wealthy anymore.
Yeah.
It is a very possible scenario. In a working country, in a working nation, that should not be a challenge. All right, so that should be it for today's episode of TVM Express. Thank you for watching. Remember to interact with us via our socials. Like, share, subscribe. You can also download the TVM app on your mobile stores and watch us on the go. I'm Lawrence J.R. Agwele, and we've had, what's your name?
What did I call my name?
What do you call yourself?
I call myself Maron Samuels.
Okay, and Maron Samuels has been with me. We also had the engineer Frederick Momo, and you saw the personality of Tejiri Kiwe, and this has been TVM Express. Stay tuned.